Lucy was sipping champagne when she suddenly noticed something at the bottom of her glass. A tooth. The sight made her stomach turn. Without a second thought for those around her, she bolted toward the restroom. A nearby security guard noticed and tried to follow. But as Lucy's body began to deteriorate fast, this was the consequence of her brain reaching 40% capacity. Her body couldn't handle the changes. Her cells began developing self-awareness, separating from her physical form. Realizing what was happening, Lucy frantically grabbed the pills from her bag and shoved them into her mouth. The symptoms slowed down slightly, but it was already too late. The process of cellular separation had become irreversible. Despite everything, Lucy survived, and her brain capacity surged to 50%. Though she was lying in a hospital bed, she could now see through the walls and perceive everything around her. But there was no time to celebrate. She needed more of the drug to keep feeding her rapidly evolving brain. While heading to another hospital, Lucy sensed something off in the air. A faint trace of danger hidden in the sea of cell phone signals. She filtered through the noise and locked onto a specific signal, linked to a police radio in a squad car. That's how she learned a group of drug dealers were preparing for a violent rescue mission. They got to the drugs first. When the gang leader saw Lucy was just a woman, he ordered his men to take her out in 10 seconds. He slipped out the back door, not knowing that Lucy's brain had now reached 60% capacity. She could manipulate any object in her surroundings, even form walls from molecules in the air. With a mere thought, every weapon in the room flew to the ceiling, leaving the gangsters no choice but to try fighting her hand-to-hand. But Lucy didn't even raise a finger. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't land a single hit. The gang leader was terrified. Now, with all 3 packs of the drug in her possession, Lucy's next mission was clear: find Professor Norman, a neuroscientist, and pass on everything she had learned before it was too late. But just as she reached him, the police chief burst through the door. He'd learned of his team's failure and had brought his entire force to the university. The police were unprepared, armed with nothing but light weapons. Meanwhile, the gang was fully equipped with heavy artillery. Suddenly, the space around them shifted. The lab turned into a pure blinding white. While everyone stood in shock, Lucy merely looked up. As the supercomputer neared completion, her brain capacity soared to an almost godlike 90%. She was guiding humanity into a new evolutionary era. When their fingertips touched, memories buried deep in the DNA of apes burst into Lucy's mind. She witnessed the rise and fall of every era on Earth. These ancestral memories fueled the final leap in her brain's development. Once the cells in her body completed their transformation, she would reach her full potential. The computer started to react. Just as promised, Lucy transferred all her knowledge into a USB drive and handed it to Professor Norman. Then, she dissolved into dust, vanishing into the fabric of the universe.